Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mr. Do Spectacular. We've had a lot of talk on Amigos, thanks to the intrepid work of Sprite Castle's own Rob Flack O'Hara about the Mr. Do series. He just did Mr. Do on the C64 on the last episode of Sprite Castle, which if you're into the C64, or even if you're not, I'm not the world's biggest C64 fan, but if you are into that, it is a fantastic show. So, at any rate, we are going to play some Mr. Do games this evening. We're going to start with Mr. Do. So, this is the arcade original, 1982 Universal. If you're wondering what I'm playing with, this is a Hori Real Arcade Pro in Hayabusa. This is a monster stick that I have modded to look like an Astro City arcade machine. So that is what I'll be using this evening. This has got an 8-way stick on it, which isn't ideal for Mr. Do games, but you really want to have a 4-way stick, but it won't be bad. The stick is excellent. I'm a big fan of this stick. So here we go. Mr. Do. So the first time that I played Mr. Do was, oh boy. Let's try that again. So the first time that I played Mr. Do was on my Atari computer. And I had a disc that was one of the oh boy. Oh my gosh, I got lucky there. Went back in his house. This was one of those multi-game discs, the pirated specials. And there was a game that was on the disc that wasn't on the loader. And I thought, well, gee, what is Mr. Do? Yeah, I found it just looking through DOS. Oh boy. And it was this game. And I thought, man, this game is so great. And I sort of felt like special because I discovered this game that was previously lost to me. So if you notice, the first level is spelled out. It spells a D. Second level is a 2. Third level is a 3, etc. This is something about the game that I never knew until I listened to Sprite Castle. I never put it together, mostly because as soon as you start this game, you're making holes, And so, come on, yeah. That worked out great. That's fantastic. Kill a whole bunch of baddies now. So, of course, the genius of Mr. Do is that there are so many different ways to win. You can win by destroying all the monsters. You can win by getting all the fruit, all the cherries. So you have multiple win conditions, which I love. Hey, Soup! How's it going, man? You are alone so far, my good sir. No one has come to join us yet. At least no one in the chat. We may have some silent people. I don't know. Oh boy. Yes! Look at that. 4,000 points. I will take that all day, every day. And of course the trick is to do that. Now the problem is that things just get going so quick that you run into trouble. We're going to give this another shot. I want to at least get to the 4th board. I'm just warming up here. Although I do feel pretty good. Oh, that's awesome. Soup, what year would you say you first visited an arcade? Because I always picture you as being sort of a strapping young man, maybe a lad of 25 or so. In the peak of youth. '82 was the first time you entered an arcade. So you were right on top of the Mr. Do fever, my friend. I would have given anything to be in the arcades in the early '80s. See really what I consider to be the golden age of arcade games, which in my mind is from 81 to 84. I think 84 is the peak. 81 is when it started. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ah! This couldn't turn around right. And Mr. Do and look at this. Oh! Mr. Do and his Universal games were just a huge part of that. You had games like Ladybug, Mr. Do. I believe Domino Man was Universal. These are, you know, my favorite arcade games. Oh, there's the diamond, and I missed it. You very, very rarely get the diamond. In fact, Flack was just talking about that on his show. Oh, I'm sure, man. I'm sure it was great. There's some ambient arcade sounds that I listen to sometimes on YouTube that I think are purported to come from classic arcades, or maybe they're just taken from like new retro arcades. Didn't do nearly as well that time. I didn't get the multipliers on the apples. But that is one thing that I enjoy going to our new barcade here in town, is hearing all the attract sounds, and of course the pinball machines are going, and it's a very visceral experience, you know. It's a physical experience. That's great, man. Now is what was it 10 pence for the classic games back in the day? I know I used to listen to the 10 Pence Arcade podcast out of the UK, and I figured that was where the name came from. Look at all those apples falling. Oh yeah, eat it. Eat it, creeps. Oh no! Oh no! I killed myself. 10p, okay. So really, I mean, I don't really know too much about the exchange rate, but it seems like 10p is it's a lot better deal than a quarter. You know, I don't think the pound was ever, especially back in the 80s, twice the value of the American dollar. So it seems like you guys were sitting pretty. You had your budget games, you know, you could buy specky games for £1.99. Arcade goes at 10p a pop. What a time to live in England. Oh. Alright. I've got one life left. I don't know if I'm going to be able to overcome this or not. That 30,000, that's a pretty good score for me. When we get into Do Run Run, that's when I shine. Come on. Well, I think that you know, there were plenty of opportunities for the Brits to adopt the 2-button stick, but it was the old catch-22 of, you know, we don't want to make games with 2-button support because nobody has 2-button sticks. We don't want to make 2-button sticks because no games have 2-button support. And so you get caught in a trap. You really got to launch from the beginning with a 2-button stick. That's how you do it. If you don't launch from the beginning with it's like you know, 4-player support on the N64. There were tons of consoles that had, you know, 4-player adapters and multi-taps and things, but when you put those 4 ports right on the front of the system, then you encourage everybody that's making games to make a 4-player game because it's built-in support. So anyway, a little bit of Mr. Do on the arcade. Aaron is a much better hand at most of these games than I am, but especially Mr. Do. Now let's check out the sequel, Mr. Do's Castle. Now, behind me, I guess if I point my camera over this way, you can see I actually have marquees for Mr. Do's Castle and Mr. Do's Wild Ride. The bass guitar is kind of blocking that a little bit. But, so I love the marquee for Mr. Do. Oh, shoot. And I just turned off the... So I'm using an old iPhone as a webcam. And whenever I move it around, I accidentally hit the power button. And so I have to wake it back up. And then I have to enable the camera. There we go. All right. I will say that I'm using an app called Camo, and it's very, very good. Yeah. When the six button pad, I remember when the Genesis came out with the 6-button pad. Of course, it was after the Super Nintendo had launched with the 6-button pad of their own, but it was a different configuration. And I just thought, 6 buttons on the face? Who's going to use that? And it turns out everybody's using that. So, all right, we're moving on to Mr. Do's Castle, second game of the evening. So this game, totally different than Mr. Do Uno. Just a year later, I think. I think Mr. Do was 82. In this game, you got a hammer, and you've got to destroy the cherries going this way while you fight off the creeps. And of course, the skill involved with this game is to kill a cherry, knock down a cherry while it creeps on top of it, and then collect the bonus. Okay, no problem, Soup. I will be here when you return, my friend. So you can stack these bad boys. This is a truly great game. This is not one that I played until I discovered MAME. And really, I didn't play it a whole lot until I met Aaron and started hanging out with him. And he always talked about how great this game was. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to open this door by running over the key slots. Or hammering the key slots, rather. There we go. And then, of course, if we go up here, which this guy is going to try and stop us from doing, he's going to be unsuccessful. Get the big bonus. Bam. And this is how you collect your extra, which is always a feature of the Universal games, is collecting that extra. It's very difficult to come back from being on the lower level there. Soup, I'm sorry, your internet seems like it's been down in the dumps lately. I know exactly what that's like, man. I've been lucky here in the past couple months. Things have brightened up a bit, but there for a while it was touch and go every single week doing the show. Well, you can see that this guy turns green, he becomes more evil, and so you want to avoid him at all costs. That's good. I'm glad to hear it, man. The pigging ad? I don't even know what that means. Is that some sort of British slang? Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. I thought there was some sort of like pork ad or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, Sue. Oh, missed it. So not bad for a first attempt. I'm just kind of getting my feet wet, but I think I can do better. I didn't get on the high scoreboard. So, I'm sure there's a strategy about whether you should start at the top or go to the bottom. It looks like most of the creeps start, you know, to head towards south, but it probably makes sense to come up. And there we go. I'll take that all day long. I know Aaron normally starts his streams at 9 o'clock. And he normally has a pretty good crowd. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to say that people have not shown up because they're used to the 9 o'clock time spot. When in fact, people aren't showing up because I'm not Amigo Aaron. We all know that's the truth. Nobody draws like AA. That's what I always say. Oh yeah. Aaron rules at this game. Oh. Picard! Hey man. How you doing, bud? What's the word in Finland, man? Ah! I got hung up on the ladder there. This is another game with a great soundtrack. It's rainy season over there, eh? So yeah, this one, Castle is, it's a little bit hard for me to wrap my head around because I can't help but think that there's a strategy, and I just don't know what the strategy is. I should really watch some YouTube videos that go over it. Hey, Ram. Issue 4. Is that the one that has all the candy on the front of it? So anyway, that's Mr. Dew's Castle. You get an idea. Now we're going to go on to Mr. Dew's. Actually, we need to do, I think, Do Run Run is the next game, which is my favorite. My favorite of all the Mr. Dew games. On Brent's and Aaron's old arcade machine, I like to think that I set a high score that can never be broken. It was so incredibly high. But I can't remember what it was, but it was great. Now this is definitely a game that I can play a lot better. This is where the, oh shoot. Dang it. I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. Everything's. That's right, Soup, you were just early. Hey Tex, how you doing? You know, Aaron is a big fan of this coin ops interface. But I am less so a fan. I have a hard time navigating and finding the game that I want. Now, I will say, in Coin Ops defense, it is okay. I guess we'll just do it the hard way. Everything's on here. But what I wouldn't give to just be able to type in DO and all of the games that start with DO pop up. Okay, we've made it to the D's. We're getting there. There's Domino, man. I had to add that in myself. There we go. Do Run Run. Here we go. Texas, where are you at in Texas? Let's see here. I got to remember how to actually launch the game. Yeah, excellent Amiga port, Tex. This is one of the shining examples of how to do arcade ports right on the Amiga. All right, here we go. So Do Run Run is another example of a Do game where you have multiple ways to clear stages. So in this game, it combines a Pix-like mechanic where you're drawing lines around the playfield of various shapes, and as you encircle the fruit, it increases in value. It acts like a multiplier. So it gives you an incentive to, constantly be making laps around the stage so you can increase the point total of the dots. If you collect all the dots or whatever fruit they turn into, collect all the items strewn about the stage, you will clear the stage. You also are able to trigger these bad guys just like before and try and earn an extra, the letters for the extra life. I've really kind of screwed myself here. Let's see if we can get out of it. There we go. And of course the log is the key, as in lots of things in life. Now, you don't want to waste the logs too early and get into a situation like this where you're running out of ways to dispatch the enemies. When you run over items, it replenishes your ball. Every once in a while, the enemies will morph into their more dangerous counterparts. You can encircle the fruit, I believe, 6 times to get maximum pointage, which is certainly a valid strategy for playing the game. Also, when you bounce your ball against the wall, the more bounces it hits, and then if it hits the enemy, it acts as a multiplier. So it's a very deep game. That's why I love it. It's easy for people to get into right off the bat. That would have been huge if I could have got that log. I just missed it. But there's a depth here that you don't get in a lot of games. We'll travel up there. But the key is getting a whole bunch of enemies under the log and then letting it go and then collecting the multipliers. So that's not bad, but I really wanted that snake. Yeah, I mean, some people might think, what? Yeah, it's a great arcade port of a game that was released in 1984, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Outrun was also... No, Outrun was probably 86. But there were definitely arcade games of this vintage that the Amiga has a very poor record in terms of its port quality. So, did you see the way I left that ball bouncing up there? And then it hit that enemy for 2,000 points? So you can actually leave a ball bouncing, earn another ball, and as long as you don't shoot that other ball, you don't have to worry. You can it will continue to accrue bonus. So now, hopefully, you can get all 3 of these guys here. There we go. So the stages vary. I think that there might be 5 or 6. Actually, this might be a replay of the first stage. There might only be 5 stages. I've never bothered to count how many different layouts there are, but they definitely do start to repeat after a time. And we are 1 letter away from an extra life, and that is solid gold money in a game like this. Oh! I was almost at the T, and then it changed at the last minute, and now things are getting out of hand. I have to hit this log. There we go. But this is way too many enemies to have left and no logs around, especially when they're in this mode. Now, you can always outrun the enemies in this game. They never run faster than you, but when you're going up a hill, you slow down. I don't know, Soup. I am not a technical man. So I wouldn't be able to tell you if it's easier to program or more difficult to program on a 68,000 chip rather than a 6502 or whatever. I just don't know. All right, thank you, Curtis. I knew somebody would step in that knew what they were talking about. What are the pros of programming on a Motorola based chip like the old 6309, Curtis? What does that offer you? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh. Oh. I got out of it and then I was back in it. I really need an extra life here. That is not what I needed. Come on, T. Show yourself. Then it's a totally wasted log, but I can hit him for 15. There's the T. Get ready for the cutscene. Boom. I love that. I love that scene. Why do you think, so what were the major, other than the Coco Curtis, what were the major computers that used that particular chipset? I know the 6502 was used in everything under the sun, so is the Z80. But I don't know much about the 6809/6309. Boy, I got lucky there. I was throwing into heavy coverage and nailed my receiver. Those were the like the G4 and that series, the G3, the G4. Those were Motorola series PCs, right? Or processors, right? The Power PC series, Motorola based. Am I correct in that? Come on, I need a baddie to hit this thing. Oh, I caught it accidentally. That would have been nice. But like the way that bad guy was on my trail there, I had to hit the A just because the enemies freeze when that happens. And now I'm screwed. Okay. I don't like coming down to almost no fruit because you can get in a situation where you can't regrow your ball. Come on. There we go. Oh, no, I'm thinking about the, okay, the 68,000 is a Motorola chip. Right. I was thinking about the 63, I don't know. I'm getting all my terms confused. So, yeah, definitely the 68,000 series of chips is Motorola. The 6309, the 6809 are also Motorola. The G4 and the G3 chips, were those IBM chips? Is that where those came from? Anybody know? Ah! Hey, Ricky. How's it going, man? Oh, the Vectrix use the 6809. Okay. And then a lot of arcade games? Cool. Well, this isn't the best game I've ever had, but I am on pace, as long as I don't majorly screw up, to set a new high score on my PC, my gaming PC here. Come on. Give me those points. Yeah, yeah. New high score. Apple and IBM? Okay. Cool, thank you, Tex. Oh no! I hesitated and almost crushed myself. Holy Holy cow. Not good. Not good. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta pull the ripcord. Yes! That's exactly what you want to have happen. Did you see how that was worth 3,000? So, anyway, this is Do Run Run. It is. It's got elements of kicks combined with elements of Mr. Do, and then of course you've got the maze-like structure where you're picking up pellets like Pac Man. So there's no digging element, unlike the other Mr. Do game or the first Mr. Do game. But to me, this is the pinnacle of the series. It is an excellent game. If anybody would like to try it, I highly suggest it because it's great. It's great. Here's a little something for old A. He loves it when I drink out of that. All right. So, we continue on our road of Mr. Do titles. So, we're going to leave this and go to Mr. Do's Wild Ride, which was the somewhat contentious game selected by Flack as his second favorite Do title. So, we make our way back to the M's. And this is not my least favorite. We will explore that magical game later. But this is definitely not one of my favorites, and a big part of it is I think maybe I'm just not very good at it. I'll fully admit the most games I don't like is because I just am not skilled. Mr. Do's Wild Ride is a striking departure from the previous games in the series, and that the setting is completely different. All right. Coin this bad. Now, it's been a while since I've played this, so expect some sucking. So the idea, of course, is that you are climbing to the top of the roller coaster while collecting the cherries and avoiding the coasters on the track. Also avoiding the balls. And it's a very MC Escher like game where sometimes you forget what direction you're supposed to go in, and you're expecting the trains to come from other directions. To be honest with you, it's quite nerve-wracking. But it is colorful. It's very colorful. Yeah, I know what you mean, Tex. Oh! And a big part of why I don't like the game is that you see that a lot. This is one of these titles where it's like there's only 2 trains on the track. It shouldn't be that difficult to dodge. But in practice, it's a little bit of a nightmare. And then you're always, pressing your luck. Of course, you've got the pirate ship up there. He's not there to help you. I can tell you that much. Oh! See? I mean, I just timed it. And the thing is like, I'll tell you the reason why I hate this game. Okay? It's really got nothing to do with the mechanics. Is this a... Yeah, I hit my button on purpose there because I saw myself flash. I don't know if I have some invincibility. We'll have to try that again. Hey, first time out, top of the high score list. Now, Curtis, what's the Mr. Do clone scene like on the Coco? I can't recall seeing any, but I'm sure it exists. Mr. Do was such a popular game. Surely somebody has ripped it off. So I'm looking to see... Okay, I'm going to try... Okay. So obviously I don't have any invincibility when I press the button. I'm not exactly sure... Oh, this is... You get bonus speed. If you hold down the button, you can run faster. But you lose your bonus when you do that. Okay. So, now we understand what's going on. Mr. Dunn. So I just killed myself on purpose. We're going to start fresh. New game. See if we can top this other high score here. The music's good. Like I said, the music's good. It's colorful. I just don't like the linear nature of it, where you know you're trying to reach a goal, and if you don't reach the goal, then you go back to the beginning. I'm just not a fan of games that are like that. This is the same reason why I don't like Donkey Kong. I'd rather have a my personal arcade tastes, I guess, steer more towards the maze chase genre. Like, I love Ladybug. Love Ladybug. Come on. He does, Ricky. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All he needs is a little stash, and he'll be ready to go. I don't know if Mr. Do's Wild Ride was ever ported to anything. It came out right around the time of the video game Crash. So, it might not have. I think that getting to the later levels in this game, you have to use that turbo. I'm sure they make you do that. Look at the there's the diamond. I missed the diamond. The diamond, all that stuff seems weird. Oh, there's a sword there? Now, if Mr. Do could use a sword, I might be back on board. But having this pirate ship down here like this, that's no good. That's just... Because I know that thing's going to kill me. All the way back to the beginning. All the way back. To me, if I was going to introduce a pirate ship, it would be later on in the game. Much later. Because the game's already, in my opinion, the game's already hard enough as it is. Oh, I'm screwed. I'm going to try and study the path of this pirate ship, because I think yeah. Oh, it's like, how do you run under the pirate, like time yourself running under the pirate ship and still miss the, avoid the cars that's coming down there. That's really difficult. I maintain, and I maintain strongly, that the game gets too hard too quick. Too hard too quick, is what I think. Could be a giant lemon with a hat, Oram. Alright, so anyway, that was Mr. Do's Wild Ride, but we are not done. We are not done. This is January 1984. So, Ricky, when was Do Run Run released? Was Do Run Run after this? Because I think Do Run Run was also 84, but I don't know what month. Drinking out of multiple cups tonight. Okay, so we move on to the most infamous title of all, Mr. Driller. I'm just kidding. We move on to Neo Mr. Do. So because of the wacky way that I have this thing set up, I actually have to go backwards through the alphabet to get to it. You know, there's a Digger game on on the Amiga. Then there's also diggers, plural. And I can't get diggers, which is the name of the game for next week, to work. The WHC load file is not working. So I do have the ADFs, but I'd really, really, really rather not play the ADFs. I'd rather play the WHG version. So, Neo Mr. Do. This is the Neo Geo version of Mr. Do. It came out much, much later. Probably early 90s or so. So if you haven't seen this before, you're in for something. Alright, looks like might be having some stream issues here. Where's my... Okay. Looks like we're still... How's the stream look, guys? We returned to... Things were a little bit shifty there for a second, but I think we might be in the clear again. Okay. So... Whoops. 1 second. Alt-tab through my 87 million open apps. Okay, good night, Soup. You can always catch it on the VOD, man, if you got nothing to do tomorrow. Have a great weekend. I hope you have a great Saturday tomorrow. Alright. Here we go. Neo Mr. Do. Go forward or make away as joystick. And push A button for approach of enemy. Okay, that makes sense, right? Let's try it. Break of enemy for apples and balls. Make high score for break, get together. Complete of extra, get extra game. Okay. Hey, Mr. Hag. How's it going, man? So, in my mind, oh geez. In my mind, this game was designed by the same people that did the graphical design for the game Trolls. If you're an Amiga guy, you know what I'm talking about. Trolls AGA. It's one of the most garish games that's ever existed. And this is just too many colors. It's too many colors. I'm not lighting the world on fire with my stellar gameplay here, I can tell you that. So I believe at this point I have collected all of the fruit. So I may need to read those instructions a little bit more carefully, because I can't remember how I'm supposed to actually pass the level. That's right, Ricky. It wouldn't be a stream without some AGA bashing. One of these days, I'll play an AGA game that's worthy of the moniker. It'll be Joss. Alright, so we're going to try this again. I'm going to try and decipher these. Okay, I got this. Break of enemy. Or break, get together. Okay, so that makes sense. They're racking up the points. I know that. Get the extra game. Okay. Stage clear. Need to clear items or break all in. So maybe there was just more stuff to collect that I didn't see before. Let's look again, shall we? Like this pinball is something I can shove to the left or the right, I think. Yeah, it is very Pingo-ish. FC. I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to abbreviate your name without offending you, because I don't know how to say it. I apologize. I don't want to call you the hag. That doesn't sound good. Okay, so I must have missed a fruit that first time. Look how awful Mr. Do looks. He looks like a nightmare. I mean, I know that people have a thing with clowns. Like, he doesn't look scary. He just looks bad. Look at this huge ball here. So you know, it's funny. I almost was going to make a joke, which turns out to be not to be a joke, because I always thought about The Hague, the International Criminal Court, and I was like, "Are you going to be on trial?" And then I was like, "He probably won't know what I'm talking about, because that's not how you spell The Hague, because we don't spell it that way in English." But it turns out I was right, and it turns out you are awaiting trial for some heinous crime, I'm sure. Diggers to extractors. That doesn't sound good. Leave me out of that party. Oh, okay, now it's time for a gender change. Get ready. Because, you know, you need that sometimes. But I mean, it's just, I don't like the way that you leave behind like a trail of like this stuff, like the bits and pieces of the board and stuff like that. It's hard for me to explain why I don't like this game, but it just rubs me the wrong way. I just don't enjoy it, even though it's got all the trappings, you know? And there's some cool, you know, new gameplay design style things going on in here and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. Den Haag. The crime court is a 15-minute walk from my house. Also the OPW. What's that? What's that, Mr. Hague? All right. I just don't enjoy this game, so we're not going to play it anymore. Instead, let's leave this. And let's see, run. We need one more game to kind of wash the taste of Neo Mr. Do out of our mouth, and I think I know the one. We're going to play another one of my faves. And unfortunately, like I said, I haven't set up my buttons correctly, so we've got to work backwards through the day here. Okay, and we are going to play some Tapper to finish out our stream this evening. So, Tapper, this is a, I want to say, is this Universal also? Could it be? I'm trying to think about. Anybody know who made Tapper? Maybe it's Konami. But I think it's Universal. I think it's Universal. So I'm a big fan of games where you do things like you do in real life, like Trash Man on the Spectrum. It's Bally. Bally. Thank you, Picard. You know, Bally, this might have been the last Bally arcade game. I cannot think of another game released by Bally. You know, Midway bought Bally later on down the line. But I can't think of another Bally game that was released after Tapper. That would be a fun trivia question, if anybody happens to know the answer to that. That's right, no beer left behind. The trick to this game, if you don't know, is to collect this tip, because that's the only way you can really rack up the big points. And it also slows everything down a little bit, so you can manage to not go insane. I've been lucky enough to play on a real tapper machine with real pulls. I'd love to have one of these, but they are high dollar machines. High dollar. I kind of get stuck on this level sometimes because I just don't know. I'm sure there's a trick that you can manipulate the patrons to keep them from coming out in patterns that don't allow you to advance. But I don't know what it is. So sometimes you just have to start again. But like, if I really focus... That should do it. Yeah. And of course, this is one of these games where you can play for a level or you can play for points, but you get the further you get, the more points per patron. So you really want to try and advance through these things as fast as you can. Oops, that's one too many. It's one too many. That's it. 4,500. That's a lot of money to pay for a stand-up arcade machine. That is well into pinball machine territory. Although, if you guys watch the scene, you know that is where we're heading. Unlike sealed copies of Super Mario Bros., the pinball and arcade machine market is not being manipulated by scumbags. It's just getting out of control. Shoot! Still though, I'm gonna give that one more. I'm gonna give that one more run. As you can see, this has not been. It's not my top score of all time. I dallied too much. What you really want to do is you want to try and get as far as you can, and then start playing for points. You can milk the tips for points, but I think that's not the best strategy. Rampages by Bally. Oh, interesting, Ricky. Okay. So do we have a do we know what the last game was? Rampage the last game that was manufactured by Bally, Ricky? Yeah, the Bally Astrocade. There's an ARG Presents on that. Away with you. Mortal Kombat. Well, that was Midway, though, right? I know that Midway owns the rights to, you know, the Mortal Kombat, or at least they used to. I don't know anymore. I don't think Midway exists anymore. But I'm talking about the last game that was actually under the Bally moniker, not Bally Midway. Oh, sorry, HSI. That Twitch notification system is unreliable as heck. That's what I do whenever I'm bartending. Just throw a couple back and then throw it up in the sky. I haven't either. HSI, I've only gotten to the punk stage. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'd love to see that. This is really where the game starts to become too difficult for me. Because of the different directions. So we're going to start milking for points here. Nope, I missed it. I just can't keep I can't keep my eyes on everything going on at once. Nope, that's one too many. One too many again. That's going to end it. Oh no, I guess I've got one more life. Maybe I earned an extra life for getting a certain score. Nope, yeah, I don't have what it takes to get past this stage, but I feel pretty good that I got this far. So, you know, judging by my score from a previous attempt, I guess if you milk the tips on the stadium level, you can get a higher score. So it's probably just like most great arcade games where you have to combine point pressing with stage advancement to really max out your score. All right, well that's going to do it for my Mr. Do Spectacular plus Tapper stream this evening. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Want to appreciate, I know I can't offer you the wacky antics of Aaron, but I figured I'd do a little something since Aaron is otherwise disposed this evening. So thank you, Ken, Picard, Texas Foosballer, Orom, Mr. Haig, everybody that's been hanging out. I appreciate your company, and I will see you next Friday on Amigos. Until then, adios.